It's a full touchscreen phone with a whole lot of buzz that's directly pitting itself against the iPhone. I'm Brian Tong from CNET.com, and today we've got the spotlight fixed and focused on the Samsung Instinct for Sprint. The Samsung Instinct has a candy bar design and rounded corners, and it obviously looks very iPhone-ish. It's a bit taller and fatter than the iPhone, but thinner when you measure across the front face. The touchscreen is 4.25 inches with haptic vibrating feedback, and the color and graphics look great on this guy. It's subtle, but this touchscreen works whether you press your finger on it or use a stylus or fingernail, something the ladies out there will be happy about. The screen is a 1/4 inch smaller than the iPhone, but you do feel a little cramped when web browsing or watching videos with a smaller viewing area. You'll have 3 buttons on the front. The home button will take you to the main screen where you'll have your favorites: the main menu, the fun menu for media and games, and the web menu for browsing or getting things like weather and news. Like many touchscreen phones competing with the iPhone, this guy's loaded with features. It's got 3G, GPS navigation, full Bluetooth with a stereo profile, a 2-megapixel camera with video capture, and a full HTML browser. You can use the phone as a modem for your laptop. It's got email support for POP3 in all major accounts, a 3.5mm headphone jack, it's Sprint TV enabled, and a micro SD card slot that supports up to 8 gigs. Obviously, there are tons of features that make the Instinct anything but basic, so let's point out some of the unique ones. This guy has a landscape keyboard throughout all its functions, unlike the iPhone. Whether you're text messaging, entering an address for GPS, or emailing, you get a landscape keyboard. You also have the ability to enter text graffiti style, and it works pretty well. The Instinct has its own version of visual voicemail. It's very similar to the iPhones, but I found scrubbing through a message was not very accurate and a lot more jumpy on the Instinct. GPS stands out on this device because of the size and vibrancy of the screen, and its GPS is also integrated into other functions. For example, the Instinct uses its live search feature where you give it a voice command, coffee, and it uses your GPS location to find matches nearby. I found it to be pretty smart and something you'll actually use. Those are just a few of the features, so what are some of our gripes and ways they could improve this thing? We need Wi-Fi. 3G is great, but these days I want both options, and the Instinct doesn't have it. There's no instant messaging on this phone, and with all its features, I'm surprised it was left out. The web browser needs some work too. It's great because it displays everything in its full HTML glory, but it's cramped because it doesn't use the whole screen. They also have this web panning feature where you hold the camera shutter button and move the phone around to scroll through the page. Problem is that there's really no speed control to it, and it's more frustrating than anything else. I definitely miss the multi-touch iPhone controls. Performance-wise, we had issues with the call quality. Volume levels were fine, but call clarity wasn't. It was patchy at times, and callers on the other line told us the Instinct picked up some background noise. It's not enough to ruin the call experience, but we just couldn't overlook it. Multimedia performance is mixed. The music quality sounded great for the most part, and at its highest volume levels, it did get distorted like most phones. But when I played music through its speaker, the Instinct was a lot more crisp and clear compared to the first-gen iPhones. It wasn't even close. Video performance wasn't as hot. Streaming videos through the Sprint TV service was pixelated. It can't keep up with quick movements, and it doesn't even take advantage of the full display. Battery life on the Instinct is rated at 5.75 hours of talk time, and our lab squeezed out a little more than 6 hours, plus an extra battery is included. I'm Brian Tong for CNET.com, and the Samsung Instinct is one of Sprint's finest phones to date. It's a bummer that its call quality could use some improvement, but there are so many things this phone does great that if you're curious, you should definitely follow your instincts.